I'm off to run some errands. Please tidy up this place.
No!
Wow! How did you guys do it?
We got cleaners.
Cleaners?
You know it, Dad.
Cleaner, it works.
Coming up next on PlusTv, Plus News. Join our news team for half hour of local and national news. Plus News, informative, balanced, accurate, and current.
When the power goes out, life is disrupted. Be prepared and keep your home powered up with a generator from Benquip. We carry brands such as Honda, Kohler, and JCB. Schedule your installation, maintenance, and assessment to keep your generator ready and waiting to protect your family and home the next time the power fails. Stay in control of your power with a generator from Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
In the headlines for tonight's newscast, Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry calls for strengthening public financial management systems. Audit confirms funds were misappropriated from the National Celebrations Commission. BEL explains the new cost of power adjustment mechanism. San Ignacio and the Twin Towns unveil monument honoring past and present mayors, and Belize to provide financial assistance to Venezuela in the wake of devastating earthquake. These stories and more up next. Stay tuned.
This cast is brought to you through the courtesy of Builders Hardware, your home improvement warehouse.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God, Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Welcome to Plus News for today, Friday, July 3rd. I am LJ Wade. The Belize Chamber of Commerce is pushing for the restructuring of the government's procurement and payment processing systems. While acknowledging the government's commitment to a thorough investigation into recent procurement and payment irregularities within the Ministry of National Defense and Border Security, the Chamber believes that the incident serves as a timely reminder of the need to strengthen the institutional frameworks that safeguard transparency, accountability, and public confidence in the management of public funds. In a letter addressed to the Prime Minister, the BCCI provided a series of recommendations that it believes can be implemented immediately, despite the ongoing investigation. These include enhancing the SmartStream accounting platform in order to identify and prevent irregular transactions before payments are processed. The Chamber is also recommending stronger supplier transaction controls, automated detection of suspicious payments, safeguards against duplicate invoices and payments, stricter separation of payment approval responsibilities, comprehensive audit trials, role-based system access, real-time reporting of unusual transactions at regular independent system audits. According to the Chamber, many of these measures would demonstrate the government's commitment to promoting greater accountability and restoring public confidence while helping to prevent similar incidents in the future. The National Evangelical Association of Belize is also calling on decisive and thorough action regarding the current exposures of alleged mismanagement of funds in the Ministry of Home Affairs and Defense. In a statement issued today, the association acknowledged the actions already taken by the government, but stressed that more should be done. NEAB is urging the Prime Minister to ensure the investigation is thorough and free from interference, strengthening the Finance and Audit Act to address weaknesses exposed by the allegations, fully implement international anti-corruption standards under UNCAC, enact whistleblower protection and campaign finance reform legislation, and appoint a new ombudsman to strengthen public accountability. Earlier this year, it was reported that over $45,000 were misappropriated from the National Celebrations Commission. An independent audit was conducted, and according to the chair of the commission, Minister Francis Fonseca, some funds were indeed unaccounted for. While he did not give the exact amount, he did state that 2 persons have been disciplined and that the monies were paid back.
As I understand it, I don't know if it's 45,000, but I think obviously an audit was done, conducted. That audit, discovered that there were some inaccuracies in terms of funds, and that was addressed. But I have to get an update on what has been happening since I was away.
Can you confirm if those 2 employees that were allegedly involved have been placed on leave?
Yeah, I can confirm that. I think one of them no longer works at Niche, so that relationship has been terminated. And I think the other one, who I think in terms of the audit indicated that person played a much less significant role, a secondary role in the entire process. That person was simply was placed on leave and of course paid back all of the money that was identified as being misappropriated, and that person was then, I think, transferred to another position.
You know, as it's celebration times, we just saw the launch of the theme coming up. These funds are quite important to the events that we want to host. How can we ensure that something like this doesn't happen again? Yeah, well, as I said, it was discovered through an audit, and everything has been done to ensure that there is a clear process in place to make sure that does not happen in the future.
The Honorable Francis Fonseca says he is glad that the cyberbullying charges against Alberto August were dropped. Last week, the Office of the DPP informed that there was no legal basis for the charges, causing the Honorable Oscar Mira to withdraw his complaint against August. When asked about the incident, Fonseca says that the case being dropped was the right thing, as many people don't know how to properly use the cyberbullying legislation.
The cyberbullying law is a new law, and I think people don't fully understand how it should be used and applied. I think that's important, that we get a better understanding of how it should be used and applied. So I certainly I'm glad to see that matter has been, I think that's disposed of now. The DPP has indicated that I think Mira himself withdrew the charges, but the DPP also pronounced that the charges would be dropped, and so I think that's the right thing happened at the end of the day. And I think, as I said, we all have to understand better how the cyberbullying law can be applied and used.
The Prime Minister announced earlier this week that they will be looking at making some amendments to the legislation, as parts of it can be viewed as unconstitutional. Yesterday, the PUC approved BEL's proposal to keep the base electricity rate unchanged. meaning the standard cost of electricity will not increase. However, it also approved a new cost of power adjustment mechanism, COPA. According to BEL, the company spends most of its operating costs purchasing electricity from Mexico. The new mechanism is intended to help BEL recover those costs more quickly when prices change. According to the executive chair of BEL, Lin Young, under the new system, COPA will appear as a separate line on customers' electricity bills, making it easier to see how fluctuations in power purchase costs affect monthly charges. Young says the adjustment is not a permanent fee. Instead, it will rise or fall depending on the actual cost of buying electricity. If power costs increase beyond the level approved by the PUC, customers could see a small increase on their bills. If those costs decline, customers will receive credits, resulting in lower electricity bills.
That on a monthly basis, but the PUC in the electricity rates have set a level for the cost of power based on the projections and estimates. And it's at 30 cents per kilowatt hour. And then on average, the delivery of the power, that is the distribution lines, transmission lines, the substations, the administration, is a 14.4 cents per kilowatt hour built into the rates for that part of it, right? But what has happened is that with the Ukraine war, the war in Iran, the challenges you have with shipping, etc., not to mention tariffs and all that, the cost of power has been just widely fluctuating. And last year, for example, the company racked up like about $60 million in excess cost of power that wasn't built into the rates. So what the suggestion was to try to smoothen the effect on customers rather than wait a year or two and then having to adjust the rates by 6 cents or 5 cents or whatever. And so it's going to be on a monthly basis that we'll take a 6-month average of the cost of power and compare it to what is in the rates. And let's say at the rolling 6 months for the last 6 months was 32 cents per kilowatt hour. Then that's 2 cents per kilowatt hour more than what's built into the rates. But this mechanism is going to limit it at 1.5 cents. The adjustment either way, right? So then the customer would get an extra 1.5 cents as a cost of power adjustment on the bill. As I was explaining, most of the about 70% of our customers are residential customers that burn about $200 per month. So a customer like that would probably see something like maybe a $5 adjustment to the bill if it was a full 1.5 cents. It could be less. But also, as I explained, the cost of power tends to be higher in the first 6 months of the year, and then it tends to start falling as we get more hydro and it gets cooler, and the Mexican prices to a large extent has been driving the cost of power from Mexico. That has been driving it. The second half of the year, as it gets cooler, their prices tend to go down. So there's a high probability that you might be seeing more reductions than increases as you go through on a monthly basis. But again, importantly, I have to be frank. The last year, the company had some struggles trying to pay CFE, and there were times when CFE actually said, listen, if you don't come up with money, we're going to have to disconnect you. So we can't continue to put the country's electricity supply at risk, right? So we have to try to put things in place to make sure that we eliminate that risk as much as we can.
BEL says the new system offers several benefits, including no increase to the base electricity rate, greater transparency in billing, no GST charged on the cost of power adjustment, and a cap of about 1.5 cents per kilowatt hour to help protect consumers from sharp price swings. The adjustment will also be calculated using a 6-month rolling average to reduce the impact of short-term fluctuations. In June of this year, the government announced its intention to invest approximately $73 million in BEL through the purchase of more than 8 million shares in the company. Lin Young, the executive chairman of BEL, says that the investment will give the company a much-needed boost to meet future demands.
An electric company has tremendous needs for capital. That's for sure. And in the current circumstances where oil prices are so high, it puts extraordinary pressure on the company to meet the requirements. But one of the most important things is A, making sure that we keep the lights on, right? And B, meeting the growth that the country requires in terms of, I mean, everywhere you look, you see new buildings going up, you see new developments taking place, right? And the company has to be able to meet that. And as I was explaining earlier, with the kind of economic growth we are seeing in the country, you can't meet that with just borrowing money. So we need some equity injection into the company also to be able to meet those low, to meet the future demands and to meet the growth in the country.
A number of Belizeans have expressed shock, concern, and disappointment with their electricity bills over the last few months. Some consumers have claimed that, despite not doing anything different, they have registered 20, 50, and in some cases, even 100% increase to their electricity bills. Lin Young says they've reviewed all the complaints, and in most instances, consumers' appliances are pulling more energy due to the excess heat.
All the complaints that we have gotten and we looked at, to start off with, is that May was the hottest period in the year, and every year we look at the numbers and we can show you the graphs, etc. Every year we get a lot of high bill complaints because of the heat. Electricity use in Belize is driven a lot by heat. So your refrigerator is going to work harder, your fans are going to work harder, your AC units are going to work harder. And then on top of that, what happened to some customers we found is that there's a threshold of $100 for GST. So if your bill was normally $95, and then because of the heat, it jumped to $105, so you get an extra $10 on your bill because of the higher usage. But then you jump the threshold now and you get a 12.5% GST on that whole $105 too, which adds to it, right? There were also, that happens often in the industry, is that sometimes the meter reader goes to read a meter and cannot access the meter because of some issues or whatever, and they do an estimate billing. And sometimes that causes some disruption, variations. So if you get an estimate billing, say in February, like February, March, April, were very cool months. If you get an estimate based on those months and then May comes in high, then when the real bill comes in, get a drop, right? And it tends to hit you hard. So then look, compared to the previous months, it looks kind of high. And then there's the issue also of even the billing period. February is a short month, for example. So the billing period is short. May is 31 days, right? If your meter reader goes something a day or two late, it may be 32, 33 days. So you really have to look at the consumption. When we looked at every complaint that came to us, we looked at it, it was clear that it was driven by either increasing consumption or the person jumping the GST threshold.
We'll take our first break and be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Here's how to be a part of Benny's Homecation in 3 easy steps. First, download the B-Bucks app and sign up to be eligible. It's fast and easy. Then, shop at any Benny's location or Benny's entity. Remember to choose products from our monthly Homecation jackpot categories to earn entries. Now you can earn B-Bucks with purchases made and be a part of the Benny's Homecation jackpot for a chance to win the $10,000 grand prize in December. Win the ultimate Homecation with Benny's, quality and savings.
Before our grid reached across Belize, it was built by generations of Belizeans committed to connecting communities and powering progress. Through the hands, the dedication, and the vision of our people, the grid grew with Belize. A nation built through strength and resilience, and a network built pole by pole. Today, that responsibility continues, strengthened by every hand that follows, each generation building on the last, and carrying forward a shared responsibility, serving communities, powering schools, hospitals, businesses, and homes, supporting a nation that continues to grow. Belize Electricity Limited, built to serve, serving Belize.
Strong economy is not solely built on large investments and major infrastructure projects. It is built by the small businesses that open their door every day, employ Belizeans, and contribute to the prosperity of our community. Our MSMEs are not simply participants in our economy, but they are the engines of growth and drivers of national development.
This year marked an important milestone as we launched the third National MSME Roadshow. Since its introduction in 2022, this initiative has connected with more than 2,000 entrepreneurs. I think that's a very large number across Belize. That level of participation speaks volumes about the ambition and determination of Belizean business owners who continue to seek opportunities, who continue to learn, to grow and expand.
It's about believing in the local potential. It's about recognizing that innovation, quality, and entrepreneurship exists right here in Belize. That is why events like the National MSME Roadshow is very important, because it equips us with the knowledge and the tools that we need to grow. So whether you're just starting out, thinking about a business, or looking forward to growing the existing one, I encourage you to take opportunities that are being offered throughout the next following days.
To every entrepreneur here today, I encourage you to take advantage of the opportunities like these. Keep learning, keep building, and keep believing in your vision. It didn't just help me to look at what my business is today, but it also helped me to think about what my business can become tomorrow.
Manholes play a critical role in keeping our sewage and drainage systems functioning properly. They allow our maintenance team to inspect, clean, and clear blockages. When covers are missing or compromised, the entire system and the public are placed at risk. Stealing or damaging manhole covers is a criminal offense and creates dangerous conditions on our streets and sidewalks. Motorists and drivers are reminded that it is an offense to park or drive on sidewalks. The weight of vehicles, large or small, can crack and dislodge manhole covers. In an ongoing effort to protect lives, property, and public infrastructure across Belize City, your Belize City Council continues its citywide manhole cover replacement program. Since the launch of this initiative, thousands of damaged or missing manhole covers have been replaced, improving safety, accessibility, and the overall appearance of our streets and sidewalks. Despite these strides, manhole covers continue to be stolen or damaged, creating serious risks for pedestrians and motorists, including severe injuries, traffic incidents, and damage to personal property. If you see a manhole cover that is broken, missing, or unsafe, report it immediately. Take a photo and share the location with us via WhatsApp at 673-9055 or by calling 227-2308. Remember, maintaining manhole covers requires a shared responsibility. Together, we can prevent accidents, protect public infrastructure, and keep Belize City safe for everyone. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Welcome back. Police are investigating a reported rape in Belize City following a complaint made on Thursday, July 2nd. According to police, at approximately 5 p.m., a 28-year-old Belize City woman reported that around 3 p.m. that same day, while at her home, her 25-year-old ex-boyfriend allegedly had sexual intercourse with her without her consent. The matter remains under active investigation. The Office of the Ombudsman has been vacant since December of 2025. Former Ombudsman Major Gilbert Swaza's contract was not renewed by the government, and the office has remained vacant to this day. According to Minister Fonseca, while they are looking to appoint a new ombudsman in the near future, the government is also looking to transform the office into a national human rights institution. And according to Fonseca, that takes time.
Obviously, our objective is to fill the office as quickly as possible. But there's a process that we have to follow. It goes through the National Assembly. So that process is being followed. They have to advertise the position. And as you pointed out, there's a transition taking place. We're transitioning from just an ombudsman's office to this National Institute, Human Rights Institute. So that takes a lot of work involved in that transition process, but that work is ongoing, and I expect that very shortly they will be advertising the post, and we will be able to fill that post through the National Assembly. It's an important post, but people should remember that under the UDP we didn't have an ombudsman for 2.5 years. 2.5 years we didn't have an ombudsman in this country. The ombudsman's post has been vacant now for a few months, 4 months, I believe. And yes, we have to fill it. It's an important post we have to fill, but the reality is we're dealing with a transition, and we have to make sure that that transition process is done properly. And once that is concluded, then obviously we can fill that post.
More and more plastic water pouches are coming under scrutiny as calls continue to grow for a national phase-out of the single-use product in Belize. A coalition of around 40 organizations, institutions, and businesses have submitted a letter to the Minister of Sustainable Development, the Honorable Orlando Habet, urging the government to consider a phased ban on the pouches. The group says the measure would provide a solution that is both economically and environmentally stable. The proposal outlines a 3-year transition plan, beginning with restrictions on government use in large public events, followed by schools, and eventually a full national ban on production, importation, distribution, and sale. Executive Director of Sea of Life, Paulita Bennett Martin, told us more about the movement.
So this is an initiative that was led by an amazing woman that reached out to us from that lives in the Cayo district. And the idea that she wanted to solve was the issue of the plastic pouches, water pouches, or what we call shilling-wata. And her, as well as many people, recognizing that we have a problem with these little pouches being all over the sea, all over the streets, etc. She came to us because she wanted data that we had been collecting here in Belize through our Sea of Life Trash Blitz campaign. And so we supplied that data and recognized that over the last 3 years, pouches or plastic bags in general, but pouches now being separated from that, continue to be in the top 10 of the waste that we collect. And so the idea was to work with the government to phase out the use of pouches in Belize, starting with government buildings, government events like festivals and fairs and stuff like that, right? So then after a year of that, to go into the schools and work with schools to introduce refillable water stations on campuses and then phase out the pouches on campuses. So the idea has never been just to get rid of pouches, but more so to move to refillable water systems so that we can supply access to fresh, clean, cold water without creating so much plastic pollution. Our organization, Sea of Life, who's one of the signatories on this request, has found that where we are placing refillable water stations on school campuses, we are saving a lot of money for the families. So instead of spending $1 or $2 a day on little waters, they're spending about 11 cents a day because they're paying a small water fee one time a year, right? So we're looking at both the economic side of this as well as the environmental side. And the ask then moves on in year 3 is to ask for a national phase out of the shilling water. And this is just focused on water because we recognize there are a lot of other products on the market that are also packaged in plastics, but we don't have a solution for all of those products. We're only focused on the item that there is a clear solution for.
Martin explained that the initiative is driven by the urgent need to address the immediate and long-term impacts of plastic waste on wildlife and ecosystems. Contributing to the concern is the growing issue of microplastics and the risks they pose to human health.
We see the pouches piled up around fishing areas, like fishing spots. So they'll often be shoved in the rocks and the walls of areas where people spend time and recreate. I believe that the Crocodile Research Coalition has actually found pouches ingested by crocodiles. A lot of the divers that we speak with that are part of the different cleanup efforts find the pouches on the bottom of the sea because they get stuffed with sand and then they lay on the ocean floor, right? So we're seeing the impact physically, but the impact that we don't see is something that we should be more concerned about, okay? Because the pouches are soft, they're low density polyethanol, they're plastic material that has the potential to break up into smaller pieces, what we call microplastics, right? And so science has already shown that plastic water bottles do shed microplastics every time you drink from them. There's microplastics that shed into the water, okay? So those bottles are made with a higher density plastic. So with a lower density thing, such as a pouch, you have to wonder, what is the microplastic content that goes into the drinking water? We don't know. There has not been a study on that. So what the impacts are is both environmental. We see it in the environment, and then we can also see that animals are interacting with it. And then the second thing is we know that there is a potential for the microplastics, and that is something that we as humans should be very concerned about because we would be ingesting those chemicals.
We also heard from the Minister of Sustainable Development, Orlando Habet. According to the minister, he believes that it is time to start looking at more sustainable alternatives, as single-use plastic pouches typically end up on the ground after being used.
I think that the time has come for us to consider that and to do it. If we look around when you're doing, when there's garbage collection or even the cleaning up of the litter in the streets and on the highways, that those ideal type bags are very numerous. Early last year, we conducted a cleanup campaign, a national cleanup campaign, and what the program did was to make a count of the different types of garbage that they were picking up, and the ideal type bags were one of the highs on the data that we collected. So I think the time has come for us to do it. We have looked at the issue of single-use plastics, plus regulations for us to start using more biodegradable products. It hasn't worked as well as we thought. What has happened, and part of the problem, is the availability of the biodegradable products. Perhaps we went a little bit ahead of our time saying, well, we have to have these standards of 52% or more biodegradability, which means to say that that product has to degrade naturally within a year. And we didn't look at the source for where that would come. Another thing is that we do a lot of our imports from North America and Central America, and we'll have to also have collaboration with our partners in the region to see if they are also doing the same, because if the other countries aren't doing the same, then there's no requirement for their industries to produce the biodegradable products, and it makes it scarce to produce. We would have to then venture into seeing how we could do our own, right? But then it becomes expensive unless we can find a market that would be local and one that would be for export. For example, we could use bagasse to make these plates. We could use maybe plantain suckers and dry them up and do these things. There are other, maybe bamboo pulp and then doing into that. But it will be an industry that has to be developed.
On the 24th of June, Venezuela was struck by two powerful earthquakes just 39 seconds apart. The first earthquake measured 7.2 on the Richter scale and was immediately followed by a 7.5 magnitude earthquake. As of today, it has been reported that over 2,500 people have died, while thousands still remain missing. 5 Belizean students were studying in Venezuela at the time of the incident, and according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, they're all safe and will be brought home. Belize is also partnering alongside CARICOM to provide financial assistance to Venezuela.
Obviously, it's a human tragedy. We certainly, feel for our brothers and sisters in Venezuela. Belize has reached out directly to them. The Prime Minister has been in touch with the President of Venezuela, and we are working with CARICOM to provide assistance to Venezuela. So Belize will be working with them, with CARICOM, and providing financial assistance to purchase the needy items that they have identified that they want. And I should note that we have 5 students, Belizean students in Venezuela. Thankfully, all of them are fine. We've been checking on them through the Ministry of Education and Foreign Affairs. Our ambassador, Annie Lou Burns, has been checking with them. So they're fine. We're bringing them back home. So they should be home very soon. Because right now the conditions in Venezuela are very dire. So we think it's best for them to come home.
We'll take our last break and be back with more news. Stay tuned.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I hear they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, and the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
The biggest football event in the world is finally here, and Smart is giving you the chance to play and win. Before every match starts, predict who will win. The more predictions you make, the more chances you have to win. Get 1 point towards your total when you guess the winning team. Predict the exact score and earn up to 4 points. The top scorer at the conclusion of the World Cup wins the grand prize of $2,500 in cash. That's not all. Players get a chance to win weekly prizes. Plus, our quarter-final winner gets a watch party package. Play directly in the Smart app for just 50 cents per entry. Prediction starts June 1st to July 18, 2026. Don't just watch the World Cup. Play along and win with Smart. Smart, bringing people together.
When the job demands more, Milwaukee Power Tools are designed to handle the toughest jobs on the construction site. If it's speed, durability, and performance you need, Milwaukee is the perfect choice. For unstoppable power at an unbeatable price, make it Milwaukee. nothing but heavy duty. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, and the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God, Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Union Congress of Belize is gearing up to celebrate its 60th anniversary with a documentary that will highlight the union's inception, struggles, and accomplishments over its 60-year lifespan. Ella Waite, president of the NTUCP, says that the first airing of the documentary will be on the 18th of July in Belize City, before making its way to Belmopan the following weekend.
NTUCB will be celebrating its 60th anniversary, 60, on the 13th of July. And we are so excited because this is the first time we'll be having a documentary with the best effort to cover the 60 years of activities we've had. So we're looking forward to celebrating this with people in Belize, with the public, with those who support NTUCB. We'll be having the first screening in Belize City at the Inspiration Center on 18 July at 2 p.m. and it should finish like around 7 p.m. The documentary itself is most likely like an hour. It won't be any longer than that. But afterwards, we'll be having a little social, a little mingle, so that persons can meet the current members of the NTUCB. We're hoping that persons from Belize City and surrounding areas will attend. It's only a small donation of $20, simply because we have to cover some costs. And it's a great opportunity to learn more about NTUCB and to see how we can continue to support the Congress, the work the Congress does. The other event, the other session will be in Belmopan the following weekend, Saturday the 25th of July, at the Belmopan UB Auditorium at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It will be the same concept. We'll be having the screening of the documentary and a little mixer, a little social afterwards. So we're hoping that persons will understand the importance of seeing firsthand how it took a Congress, a unit such as the NTUCB to reach 60 years, all the work that went into it, all the trainings, all the activities, all the demonstrations that we were a part of, and how we lasted for this many years, for 6 decades. That's a long time for an institution to last and still thrive and still be relevant in today's society. So we're hoping that persons in Belize City and Belmopan will take the opportunity to come out and view the documentary with us. Join us on those days.
On Thursday, the Twin Towns unveiled a new monument honoring the men who have served as mayor of the Twin Towns since 1958. The stone plaque, unveiled under the leadership of Mayor Earl Trapp Jr., recognizes 31 past and present mayors. Town officials say the monument serves as a symbol of the Twin Towns' history, ensuring that the contributions of those who served are remembered for generations to come. Mayor Trapp says the initiative speaks for itself, adding that the work and dedication of past leaders should never go unnoticed.
I believe that hard work, dedication, and vision for whatever leaders have done should not go unnoticed. You know, and I know that there was a role of mayors before, but it was like filled to capacity. And when they removed when we reconstructed or broke down or demolished the building from Dongtong, the plaque or the monument for the role of mayors were removed. It was knocking around all over the place, but again, it was filled to capacity. And I believe that we needed to acknowledge the other mayors that had served over the years. So as a council, we decided to do a bigger one and extend it and leave space for other future mayors that will be coming. It's very good, like I said, to acknowledge them. And another point is to use it as an educational tool or resource for students as it pertains to history. You know, anybody can walk down there in front of the council and see the role of mayors in terms of all mayors that have served over the years, and questions are always asked, and that's a good resource, a good source to go and get your information from.
Following the ceremony, former mayors Elena and Desmond Berry expressed their gratitude for the recognition, commending the current administration and Mayor Trapp for their leadership and continued efforts in driving the development of the Twin Towns.
I give thanks to the town council, especially the mayor, the community, for giving me the opportunity to make a go. Serve the community for 3 terms. And I feel appreciate where the mayor do with the mayor. Really and truly, our mayor were really working. That's our good mayor. I would want that people would appreciate that. I give them a next opportunity for at least the next 3 years to make it continue the development way they do right now.
I think it was long overdue. So many times I had these thoughts in my mind, you know, that why haven't they done something like this, you know? And I'm thankful that Mayor Trapp was one of the guys that took it into consideration and says, look, this is something very nice, and you know, so I really appreciate and respect that guy.
Providence Ministry is once again preparing to give back to the community through its annual Back to School drive set for the 22nd of August. The Camalote-based outreach ministry, founded by Shana Salazar in 2024, was born out of a desire to be a reflection of God's provision shown through community services and donation-led initiatives. Since its formation, the ministry has assisted more than 30 families in need of support. As preparations continue for this year's school drive, the ministry is calling on the public to donate school supplies, including backpacks, books, and other stationery essentials for students from preschool through secondary school. Salazar added that every contribution, no matter the size, can make a lasting impact on children and families on the receiving end.
Providence Ministry, by definition, the word providence means God's provision for his people. So Providence Ministry is just a practice, is just an initiative, a personal desire of mine to help those around me in need. And we have been doing this since 2024. And I'm very proud to say that since then, the ministry has expanded in terms of receiving resources from those to assist other people around us in need. This initiative for August 22nd is the Back to School drive, as you mentioned. Resources that we're asking persons to donate include school bags, school books, pens, pencils, you know, the typical list items that you would find on the Back to School list. So if you have any interest, even if you would like to donate monetarily, you could reach out to me via WhatsApp at 615-5138 so that I could make arrangements to get that from you. Whether it's a small donation, whether it's a book or a small financial donation, a small act of kindness has a long-lasting impact on those who receive whatever it is that you are contributing. So whatever God lays on your heart, I ask that you reach out to me and that we could work together to reach out to those in our community that may be in need.
And that's the news. Thank you for joining us. From all of us here at Plus TV, have a good night, have a good weekend, and God bless.